Three,
Three,
two,
two,
one.
one.
Welcome to the Pass the Controller podcast. I am Matt, joined as usual by Doc.
Hello. Getting a strong sense of deja vu.
It's almost like my internet sucks.
I can smell it from here.
Alright, so, anyways, this is, if you can't tell, our second attempt, basically. After being interrupted a couple times previously, so we're gonna give it another go and hope that this works out for the better.
Microsoft knows we're about to talk shit.
It knows. So we're not gonna say anything about Microsoft, except for they're lovely. And I like what they're doing with their hair. It's good, nice, fresh. I don't
We'll
know.
just use
Don't they?
pseudonym. We're Plinko Soft today.
Plinko soft. So anyways, uh, we were going to talk about some stuff. I think that we should just forego any talk about possibly the game of the year that has been released. Maybe on Tuesday. That may or not involve darkness and or souls and or the number 2.
Clearly Titanfall.
How did you know? Doc, shh!
Because mechs cast big
I mean,
shadows.
no, of course it's Titanfall. Our great Microsoft overlords. We would not say anything else. Titanfall. 20 out of 5. A+, 4-star, 5-star, C-. Okay.
We will beg you for the online only experience.
So, I think that since it's been a slow news week, I actually recently saw a video, test video of Kenji Inafune playing Mighty Number 9,
Yes.
which it looks pretty okay so far. You know?
So far, for an in-depth
Yeah.
bit, it looks pretty fantastic.
I will say he doesn't seem as hands-on with that project as I thought he was going to be. But, you know, what are you going to do? It's a pretty big project.
He's a director.
Yeah.
That's his main thing. So.
Yeah, exactly. But also, I recently watched Yahtzee's review of Broken Age, along with some other stuff, catching up on some Zero Punctuation.
Oh, I forgot that he existed. What do you think of Broken Age?
You know what? With part of the game he was impressed, part of it he wasn't. And he said that it's quite obvious that it's half of the game.
Oh.
Because, and this is where I'm getting to, on Kickstarter, Tim Schafer asked for a bunch of money. He got, I want to say he got more than enough money to make the project, and then he ran out of money. So he decided to break up the project into 2 parts. Which brings us to our discussion of the day, Kickstarter. Not the delicious drink made by Mountain Dew.
Sponsored by Mountain Dew.
Mountain Dew Kickstart. Dude, Taco Bell has a frozen Mountain Dew Kickstart. It sounds delicious,
What?
yeah.
What?
Real thing.
Why are we recording right now? I want to go for Taco Bell.
Because I gave up sugar. Anyways.
God damn it.
As I eat my cough drops that are fruity and probably full of sugar. Is there any nutrition facts on these? No. Interesting. Anyways, getting back to the topic. Kickstarter, Doc. Not only Kickstarter, but early access games and the like. So.
You mean like that point in time in which Minecraft was a big square, and then it wasn't an infinite square; it was just square. And if you dumped water on top of the world, it would fill the entire world.
Yep. I will say, Minecraft is the finest example of early access. By far.
Yeah, it actually did it very, very well.
Because, to be fair, the game was completed when it was offering that. But they just kept adding stuff and adding stuff and adding stuff. And it got to the point where they just kept adding stuff. And I don't know if they're still adding things or if they're done adding things.
Oh, yeah.
Are they done? Or are they still adding?
No, they're still adding a whole bunch of stuff.
And I think that it kind of bred that atmosphere. Like, from the early access, I think very quickly they figured out that, you know, this is the direction we take the game, and we just keep adding new stuff, and it's all cool. And hey, look, you don't have to pay a monthly access fee like it's some weird MMO.
Yeah.
So,
I think, like, it did it extraordinarily well in that not only would you keep adding
Hmm.
stuff, but it would use the input of the people actually playing
Yeah,
it to shape the game.
it was very community driven, absolutely.
Sure.
And I think that
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
out of all of the pre was Terraria, was that early access too? I don't.
Terraria was it was somewhat finished by the time it was released,
Hmm.
in that you actually had somewhat of an end game. It was actually, yeah, I would call it finished at that point in
Okay.
time. It's just that they added little patches to it that would add more content, and then great big expansion packs that you would get for free.
Yeah. So
So,
yeah. So I mean, there's a few examples, but so I think that both Kickstarter and early access are terrible, awful ideas, though. Despite me being a fan of those games, I think that really you're seeing why they're so bad. Um, just with the games that are now with so many problems popping up from Kickstarter campaigns, like Tim Schafer's whole Broken Age thing, and then there's which is I would say probably less invasive because I assume the people who backed it are still getting both parts for free. I don't know. Um, but there's games like Daisy is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. That game is so bad it makes me want to throw up. Like,
Daisy.
yeah, it was a mod originally, and that was cool. Like for a mod, it was fine, but now
Yeah, there was a mod for Arma 3, or Arma 2,
Arma
wasn't it?
2, yeah, and
Yeah,
then
yeah.
they're gonna do an Arma 3 thing, um,
Cool.
or it's just built in. But the problem with it is like now it's its own like standalone thing, so you can buy it by itself. You don't have to have Arma, excuse me. But the game, like, there's like no animations. There's no things don't make sense. There's just so much awful lag. It's a mess. That's what it is. It's just, and there's other games like that too. What was the game recently? It had Wolf in it. What was this? Is actually was a Kickstarter game. No. This was Steam Greenlit. That's what it was.
The Wolf Among Us?
No,
No. Was that actually good?
I don't know. I think it had pretty
No.
mixed reviews, honestly. Some people said it was really good, and some people didn't use the internet. Some people didn't like it.
Some people just don't like wolves.
Yep. Hang on, I'm gonna go ahead and Guise of the Wolf. That's what it was called. Excuse me.
Hmm.
Guise of the Wolf. And that game was I guess that's not really fair play because it's not Kickstarter. I don't believe it might have been Kickstarted, but that game was bad. That got community voted, and that was bad.
Yeah.
But there's
I mean, are we just going to add green light into this whole thing as well? But
no. I think we should probably keep that separate.
okay.
As I
Because I was going to go on about Two Brothers, but if we're going to keep that separate, that's fine.
yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of like, but the real problem is with Kickstarter is now you have companies, big name companies like who was it? Who was it recently? Oh, Square Enix. This was actually back in like September, I want to say. Who said that they were going to start opening up Kickstarter campaigns, crowdfunding, to maybe start some projects. The problem is that Square Enix is a large publisher, and they have enough money to fund their own crap.
Yes. Emphasis on the word crap.
Yeah, I chose my words very carefully. This is also leading to the next point. The problem is now that you're going to have a bunch of people throwing money at Square Enix to reboot franchises like, oh, I don't know, Legend of Mana, maybe?
Nobody's going to do that, and they're not going to do it for
Listen,
us.
of course not. But here's the main problem. You're paying for something in advance that you have no idea what you're getting. There's no trailers, no concept, there's nothing. It's just you're throwing money at somebody and hoping that they can deliver. And I've seen stories where like developers haven't been able to pull through with their game, and just what happens to backers' monies, you know. And
Here's the thing, though. Like, a lot of people go into it thinking that they are pre-purchasing a game,
yeah,
that they are this, that they are that. You're kind of not. You're investing.
of course.
You're taking a
But
risk.
here's the thing:
It's
you're investing without getting any sort of return, except for the game. So you're taking,
yeah.
instead of Square Enix taking all the risk and getting all of the money, now you're taking all the risk and Square Enix is still getting all the money.
So if someone goes and say down to this is I don't understand how economics work, but if somebody goes down to Wall Street
Mm-hmm.
and invests in a
Yep.
company and they fucking tank,
Yep.
what happens to their money then?
It
They have
goes away.
no money,
They have no more money.
and yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's in the same sort of vein.
Well,
If they invest in a project like
no,
this, they get what is
because
promised to them, barring the
if the
game.
company is very successful, then you get money in your return. You do not get money in your return investment in the project. You just
No, you
get the
don't.
game.
You also didn't agree to it.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. Square Enix publishers, this could cause, and I don't think that it will, but it could lead to publishers no longer taking risks. They're no longer having to fund their own stuff, and the people are the backers, I guess you call it, are going to end up getting taken advantage of, because there's no requirement for them to make an extremely amazing game anymore. It's
Hmm.
And you've seen it, like even when companies are backing their own games, they're still not producing good stuff. Look at the Assassin's Creed franchise; that's gone downhill. Call of Duty, I mean, you can name any really big triple. Madden's the worst of them all. Madden, just because it has no competition, they make just this giant pile of crap every year, and like, oh look, we painted it white this time. It's like, oh yay, but
Yay.
it's ridiculous. Like, could you imagine if you were a company and you had absolutely no risk if this game was awful?
It would be like Soviet Russia back in the Cold War, where they
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't. You had workers who would be paid the same amount regardless of how much work they did.
Yep.
So wouldn't it make sense to do the bare minimum amount of work? So
Mm-hmm.
then you just have giant, shoddy tanks that would fall apart and
Mm-hmm.
all sorts of people dying in the machinery. So,
Of course.
yeah, because no one would want to work for
That's
the same amount of money.
that's what I'm saying. Like it's really bad. Like,
It is.
not to mention, like, I don't know. It's just like, I don't know how to put this. Um, and I lost my thought. Good, great job, excellent work,
Good.
yay.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, I don't like Kickstarter. I think I think that that people are misusing it at this point, and honestly, I'm almost offended. And I don't know if how what happened to this. I just know that at one point Square Enix was going to do crowdfunding to get games going. But I mean, if they were allowed to do that, Kickstarter should have stepped in and said no. That's not what this is for. You're a company, you have lots of money. Because Kickstarter is for people who don't have enough money to.
Exactly.
That's the point. And once you set the precedent that Square Enix is allowed, what's to stop a company like EA or Activision or, who knows what? Who's to stop, a company?
Capcom.
Yeah, Capcom, a company from preying on people's nostalgia. And going back to the whole Yahtzee. I don't did I talk about Yahtzee? I talked about Yahtzee in this one. This take, right?
I think so. Maybe. I don't know.
Yay! Two takes are awesome. But anyways, I saw his review. Going back to that on what was it, Broken Age, and he brought up a very good point. Frap.
He brought up a great point, and it's gone.
And it's gone.
And it's gone.
Sorry, I'm a little under the weather, so my mind is not working properly. Also, I decided to give up you know, caffeine and, well, not really caffeine, but sugar, which is like, has caffeine, so, and all the beverages I drink, so my mind is not focused right now. Also, it's like 12 o'clock in the morning, so there's that, guys. Yeah, well, that sucks. It was a really good point, too.
Oh.
Ugh.
Next time on Controller Grumps, we'll cover this
Womp,
point.
womp, womp. Oh my goodness.
Bobby, put that in.
Oh my goodness. Fantastic. Okay. Anyways, Kickstarter, bad. Precedents set by Square Enix, bad. Don't. It's for indie companies that don't have money. Don't be that guy, Square Enix. I mean, nobody likes you right now, anyways. So make the next.
Well, Bravely Default was really good.
That's true. Actually, I saw that. So here's a funny thing. I scrolling through Destructoid, and I noticed that they had an article about like how Bravely Default was like passing sales of Fire Emblem or something. That was like coming from Nintendo, and I think that's really funny because they're nothing alike.
No, they aren't. Not at all.
I was like, why is this even a thing? Why? Who cares? Like, I don't know. I think it's a.
But it's the same sort of thing that they were running that campaign that if you bought both Fire Emblem and Shin Megami Tensei 4, you'd get like $35 on your whatever. But like,
dude,
they're not alike either.
Did you?
You have a strategy RPG, and then you have like this thing that will kick you in the face.
Dude, did you see that Nintendo was giving away free copies of Pokemon X and Y if you bought a system?
A system and a corresponding game, yeah.
That's pretty sweet. Like
it's fucking awesome.
You could have bought your system and got a Link Between Worlds, and boom, all set.
Yeah. Or if you care to do, ladies and gentlemen, this shit is still going on.
Oh yeah, it is.
If you care to do that, if you've been riding the fence or something like that, some of their games on their promotion are fantastic, and Pokemon X and Y are worth a play.
Oh, absolutely. So. They did a fantastic. Listen, I've been a Gen Warner, I guess you could say.
And Gen Warner?
Gen Warner. Yeah, I've not been impressed with anything really past Silver. I mean, Ruby was okay, and obviously they're all good games. But I was really just like, they're all pretty much carbon copies of one another. And then X and Y came out, and I was like, yes, finally Nintendo, you have done it. And then I went out and bought a Wii U, because I believe in Nintendo again. Also, I played A Link Between Worlds, and I believe in Nintendo again.
And the Wii U is genuinely fun.
It's an awesome...
I mean, for what games are there. So.
Honestly, right now, Wii U is my console of choice. If I could play the games that I could play on other systems, I would play them on the Wii U. I just like the Wii U that much.
So are you going to get Watch Dogs for the Wii U?
Is it coming out on the Wii U?
Later, yes.
Oh. I wasn't actually going to buy Watch Dogs, so...
I want it pre-owned, but I kind of want it on the Wii U.
Yeah, I know, right?
So, yeah, that's not going to happen. Just not going to see a pre-owned copy of Watch Dogs on the Wii U, which is unfortunate.
Well, yeah, it's hard to find a pre-owned copy of anything on the Wii U.
Yeah. That's why I was so stoked when Pikmin 3.
Oh, yeah.
It's so good.
Is it?
So charming. Yes, and because I have a Wii U and you have a Wii U, and this isn't post E3 Xbox One, I can hand you the disc, and you can put it into your system, and magic will happen.
What sort of magic?
The game will appear on your screen, and you can push buttons and interact with it.
You mean I don't have to pay... Oh my goodness. Can we go back to that for a second about the Xbox One? Do you remember their policy for that?
Oh, it was going to be fucking terrible.
You have to buy a pass to play the game. And the pass was the exact same price as what the game would have been. It's like, why wouldn't you just buy the game for yourself then? What is wrong with you people? What is...
Oh, and just... Microsoft... Sony acted as the burn center for Microsoft at
Oh
that
yeah.
particular juncture. They just lapped it
Do you
up.
remember that on
It
E3?
was it was wonderful.
How late they were? The Sony was to giving their press conference,
Yeah.
but it was so worth the wait.
Oh, it was fantastic, and that and the internet tearing Microsoft a
Oh
new
yeah.
one, and they were just like, "Fine,
No,
we'll do it your
They
way."
weren't even like fine though. They were like, "Shut up. We're gonna keep this policy anyways. We know that you're gonna buy the system. We don't care." And then all of a sudden, about a month later, pre-order numbers came in for the systems, and Xbox was sitting at about 1,000, while the PS3 or PS4 was sitting at about, I don't know, 100,000. So Microsoft suddenly changed the tune.
That motherfucker's selling like hotcakes.
Which one?
Pancake stacks. The
Four.
PS4.
Yeah, it's at 6 million copies, man. That's crazy. I think Xbox is still stuck at like 3 or 4,
Yeah,
which is really hilarious.
it's one of those. Yeah, go ahead.
It's really funny because I'm pretty sure those numbers are inflated. Like it's like, yeah, we have like 4 million copies. It's like your 120 gigabyte hard drive. It doesn't really have 120 gigabytes for you.
Nah, but that's kind of
It's
understandable.
formatted stuff,
Microsoft's wasn't.
but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
It's like they're
and
rounding up.
for the longest time, they wouldn't even release sales figures.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
oh, you hear that, Microsoft? We're talking so much
You know
shit.
what's
Fuck up Skype
you know
now.
what's hilarious?
What do you got?
You know what's really hilarious about all that? Oh my goodness.
Do you even lift Microsoft?
If you look back at like PS3, PS3 was always talking about units shipped. But now the PS4, they're talking about units sold.
Mhm.
Meanwhile, the Xbox 360 was always talking about units sold, but the Xbox One is now talking about units shipped. It's really
They weren't even units for the longest time. They were just like, everybody has picked this many cars, has driven
yep.
this many miles, has zombied this many
We've
zombies.
killed over 5 billion zombies. Have you seen Dead Rising 3? You could kill like a
I
million zombies by yourself in about 10 minutes in that game. It is
Yeah, can't you
ridiculous.
just do donuts with like a weed whacker?
Dude,
Just
you could do
done.
donuts with a steamroller. That game is so fantastic.
Oh my god. Wait, Capcom did this?
Yeah, yeah.
God damn it, Capcom. Fuck
Not
you for
only
playing with me.
not only Capcom, but Capcom in association with Microsoft. Listen, let me give you the here's why this works. If you take hydrogen, which is highly flammable, and you take oxygen, which is also highly flammable, and you put them together, you get something that extinguishes fire. Likewise, if you take Capcom, which makes terrible games now, you take Microsoft, which makes terrible games now, and you put them together, they made a good game. Not
How
great,
the fuck does that work?
not great, but good.
Okay, so if we take
Mm-hmm.
Capcom, which is dedicating, oh my god, so much time to making a terrible fucking RPG,
True.
and then you take whoever
Wait, which
published.
which RPG? Because
It's
to be fair,
I don't want.
Dragon's Dogma was actually pretty good.
It was a lot of walking,
It
but
was.
it wasn't too bad.
Yeah, I did an animation on it. Good times.
These boots are made for etc.
Copyright
But
infringement.
yeah, ah, but if you had them work with the folks that originally made Paladin's Quest, could we get a new Breath of Fire of old?
Oh my goodness. No.
Oh, yeah, that's that.
Isn't that? It's so funny.
We were talking the other day.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna do some fourth wall breaking, real talk here. I have roommates, and
What?
we were talking the other day
Uh-huh.
about how, like, what was the moment in which you just gave up in gaming, where you just realized that yes, the things that you love, they're going to be dented and bent and
Don't know
destroyed
how.
and things like that, and there's nothing you can do about it, but you just keep soldiering on. You find something else that you like.
Yep.
In my case, it happened to be Dark
Yep.
Souls, Demon Souls, etc. Souls,
Mm-hmm.
and among other things. if you put a giant robot in your game and it punches another giant robot in your face, I will hug you.
Yep. No, that's...
I love it. But in that same vein, my realization was the morning I had to go to work, and I fired up my laptop to scroll news site. I'm like, what's this? Breath of Fire 6? And they were just like, please don't read this. The news site themselves told me not to read it. And I read it. And I was fucking depressed the rest of the day. Just
Yes.
genuine, like, I want to eat Ben and Jerry's and hide in a corner depression. It was so sad. And this is coming from someone who liked Dragon
Can
Quarter.
I just say something? I
Yeah?
want to hide in the corner, eat Ben and Jerry's even when I'm happy.
I don't want to hide in the corner. I want to, like, parade that shit up and down the street when I'm happy. I'm just like, look, I have a pint of ice cream stuck in my face hole. Look at
And all
it.
your neighbors will be like, "Oh, great, he's drunk again."
It's like, look, I'm being fat today.
Just today.
Oh,
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, there's... Oh, my goodness. Companies just betraying. Also, if we go back to last week, why is there no new Mega Man game? For real, Capcom. There's like 50 different ways that you could release a new Mega Man game.
you know what?
Pick one and run with it.
Fuck Capcom. If they don't want to do Mega Man, fuck them. We've got Mighty Number 9, and then we've got that other thing
What other thing?
that integrates, and Inafune are doing.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
Oh my god, it looks so good!
Oh, yeah.
I don't even remember the name of it, and it looks so good.
It's so funny. Every time I want to get mad at gaming, there's something good. There's something good out there. Also, speaking about good things, Yoshi's Epic Yarn.
I would speak about it, but it doesn't come out till tomorrow because Friday.
No, that's Yoshi's New Island. I'm talking about the Wii U.
Shut up.
I'm talking about the Wii U one.
Oh my.
Right?
Yeah, I want it.
Like, perfect. That was just like, they were like, you know what, this Kirby's thing worked out. Let's throw in Yoshi. People like Yoshi, right?
I like Yoshi.
So far, that's been my biggest complaint with Super Mario 3D World. No Yoshi.
No Yoshi. That's just my complaint with most games.
That's true.
Dark Souls, what's your biggest... No, Yoshi.
Listen.
Oh.
Listen.
Actually, Yoshi would be goddamn terrifying. Never mind.
Yeah, but wouldn't you ride Yoshi? That'd be like the best. If Dark Souls had mounts, that'd be the best. You just like run through with like a horse, and then you like take a pike and like stab somebody in the face, and they just knock you off the horse anyways and kill your horse. But that'd be awesome.
Oh my god, they did that. It's called Fire Emblem. But no. Yeah, I would ride a raptor into battle with just like a pike, just blah in your face. Fantastic.
Listen, when somebody makes a rogue-like Dark Souls game, I will quit my life and just do that.
Oh, but you're too busy trying to beat Dark Souls and Demon Souls to get there.
That's true. That's true.
Honestly, I had the same sort of thought when I was watching a friend stream Super Robot Wars, which, if you haven't actually heard of this game, audience, you take Gundams and like Macross and like everything like that, and you stick it into one universe. They just mash it all together, and then they realize that they don't have the licensing to do that, so they make fuckloads of their own, and they make a turn-based strategy out of it, where they kick the shit out of each other with just the greatest animations, a la Fire Emblem.
I feel like this.
You make a giant monster game like that, I will mail you a box of high fives. I will lose my right hand. You can just high five all day.
I will ship you my credit card. You can just have all of my money.
I will sign over my soul to you if that so does exist. There it is. You can spend it on whatever you like, including dung pies. I don't fucking care. Just give it to me.
Oh my goodness.
Props if it's on both the Vita and the 3DS. More props if you can make them work together.
Yeah. Oh, the poor Vita. Maybe one day you'll get games.
It's got a couple, and what's there is really, really, really good.
Oh, yeah.
It's just, there's not a lot.
Yeah, I know. It's a huge problem. I think that that's one thing Nintendo really had going for it when the 3DS launched, is that you can still play your DS games.
and that was pretty much the only thing keeping it afloat.
Yeah.
And then they had that first price drop, the ambassador program, and
Oh,
then
yeah.
they put out some fun, like fantastic, amazing.
Oh yeah. Nintendo, you're doing good. You're doing good.
And speaking of Vita, I think like to the extent where I think you need to play it, you should borrow my Vita and play some of the stuff I've got.
I could do that. Yes.
I mean, if you ever get the time or anything like that, or ever feel the need to play Persona 4 Golden, which
Yeah.
you really, really should.
I probably should. That sounds like something I need in my life.
I sent you Persona 4. Did you play it?
No, I ended up backing out of buying it.
Uh,
Yeah.
oh well. There will be other
Fortunately,
times.
Mega Man X4 came in.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm okay
So I
with
bought
that.
that instead.
No, no problem. I don't know. I'll have to seek out another copy of that then.
Yeah.
You can still buy Persona 4 new.
Oh yeah.
And I don't think you actually wanted that copy anyway because I had to resurface it. That infuriates me.
Yeah.
It also didn't have an instruction book, so
It's fantastic.
I felt bad sending it to you.
Yeah, I noticed that. I was like, you know what? For this much money, I think I'll wait for a different copy. Plus, I got Demon Souls to take care of, so that's gonna. That gosh dang spider.
Can we scoot over to that a minute?
Sure.
The armor spider, wonderful.
Why?
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 Because when you first run into it, you're like, my God, how the fuck am I going to do this?
And then it shoots web at you, and it slows you down, and you're like, oh well, I'm screwed. And then it shoots a giant fire blast at you.
Yes.
And then it shoots like 3 fire blasts in a row with rock. It's just.
Here's the thing. You're going to do this, and you're going to sit there and you have no idea how to kill it, dude.
Oh, I know how to kill it.
Not even with poking it,
Yes.
But you have no idea how to kill it because you can't survive long enough. You've got a fireball coming down the hall at you. What are you going to do?
Well, I've already gotten up to the spider.
And then once you figure it out,
oh yeah,
then you'll get by it. And it's,
yeah, unfortunately, I ran out of health stuff by the time I figured it out, so I have had to go back and grind a little bit.
Why don't you go kill the red eye?
What is the red eye?
Oh, okay. So Dark Souls has black armor knights.
Yes. Oh yeah, I beat that. You're talking about the first level?
Yeah, the guy with the red glowing eyes.
I beat him.
Like you've got the blue eyes, which are competent at battling, and then you have the red eyes, which you do not fuck with.
No, I realized that the red eyes was harder than the Tower Knight, and I was like, oh,
yes.
Good. Excellent, guys.
He is put there specifically to guard a point that you should not be able to get to until the end of the game.
Yeah, well, I beat the knight, and then I couldn't get into the tower. It made me very sad.
It's locked, and there's fun things inside. There's actually something really good inside. But you've got to come back.
Is it a new Mana game?
It's a boss fight.
That's that kind of game where it's like, hey, you want a reward? Here's another boss fight, and it's the hardest one ever.
Yeah, but you gotta admit, the boss fights in those games are really fucking cool.
Oh yeah, really rewarding. I only broke my glasses once as a result of facing the Tower Knight. So.
Now,
listen.
Here's something that, like, because we're getting disjointed in all of this, because I just want to talk about all of both of those games all at the same time.
Yes, just puke it out, my friend.
Okay, so we'll go to why do people get so angry about video games? We'll segue to that. Why do people get so infuriated when faced with a challenge?
Pride.
Do they really, And this goes for everyone out there. I'm not afraid of offending people.
Listen.
Why do you get so goddamn mad?
This is why I got so mad. Real talk.
Okay.
I was one hit away from dropping him down and finishing him off. But then I was like, I'm going to play it safe. I only got like half health. I'm going to go over to this guy. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to pick up whatever he dropped. Hopefully it's a health thing, and then I'm going to use it. So I did that. But because of the way that the camera worked, because of the lock-on system, and then the fact that the guy didn't have any health, and for some reason I like accidentally hit X twice. It like took longer for my guy to go through all that process, and then I got hit.
Okay.
And that made me mad.
Okay, and what did you do about it?
The worst part about that boss isn't losing to the boss. It's the freaking walk that you have to make. The like 4-mile walk that you have to make to get to him. That's what was infuriating.
Yeah, well,
That was it.
That's the punishment you get for fucking up.
Yes.
But regardless, like, why get mad about that? Why not just say, well, okay, I made this error. Yep. Let me go do it again. I see so many people. I've heard so many people talking about controllers that they have broken. $50 controllers that they have broken because of this game.
Yep.
And, I mean, other games as well, but why are you getting so mad at video games? What?
Because...
You know what? If anyone's like, you know, I want the commenters, the anyone. Tell me, why does it make you mad?
It's pride.
Because
it's.
I was able to sit down and play that game and understand that it was myself who did the up-fucking. I did not get screwed over by the game. I understood that it was my fault.
Listen, there are times in Demon Souls and Dark Souls where the game screws you. Like the camera. The lock-on camera on the tower boss fight was horrendous. So bad.
Why'd you lock onto him?
Because you can't hit his ankles by not locking onto him with a spear.
Hey, guy.
You cannot reliably hit him in the ankle. I cannot reliably hit him without locking on.
Okay, when I fought him, I went up and around and killed all the dudes that were going to shoot shit at me
that's the first one.
with the lock on.
Yep.
And then when I had to come down to him, I had to felch him, and I just hacked away at his fucking ankles without the lock on, because otherwise, like, it would stick to the main part of his body, and the camera would do weird shit.
Well, the worst part is, like, when you're locked on, and then you're, like, kind of in a corner-y area, and then it just, like, flickers. But listen, Doc, the lock-on should work properly. It is a flawed lock-on system. Don't try to defend it.
I think I will try to defend it, because...
Don't be like, well, then you shouldn't use it if it's broken. It's there. It's supposed to be working. It's a part of the game that they tell you to use.
Okay.
No.
If you're locked onto something and it flies over your head, are you going to still use that lock-on system?
So they should, listen, so they should adjust the camera system to not be weird.
Just consider for a minute, what does the lock-on system do?
It locks onto the guy. I understand.
Okay, it locks onto the points that would be more likely to attack to do damage to him.
There are other games that have lock-on systems that are not as wonky with the camera.
Like what?
Man, where do I start? Every game ever.
What?
Don't you like my general? I think Dragon's Dogma had a pretty good lock-on system.
Okay. In Dragon's Dogma, if you're locked onto a griffin, we'll just use that for an example, and it flies over your head, what does the camera do?
It moves, but it doesn't shirk back and forth.
It freaks the fuck out.
What? It does not.
Yeah, because you have a static point for the camera. That's what's going to happen. If it blows over your head, it's going to try to keep you in frame as well as the creature.
That's fine. But there are games, I can't think of any, but I know that there are games where if that problem happens, it unlocks you from locking on. And that seems like a more logical move, that if something jumps over your head, you unlock, so you have to turn around and relock onto them. And that would be fine.
Yeah, I could agree with that.
Not only that, but locking onto like specific parts of that tower boss was really funky. Like, I would be like...
Honestly, I just wound up realizing that was going to be an issue, and just instead hacked away at his ankles, and then when he fell over, locked on.
That's fair enough. I'm just an idiot, and I'm stubborn.
Oh.
I'm like, this is how I'm going to do it. What delicious thing are you eating?
I'm playing with the packaging that Dark Souls 2 came in. They sent me Texas Air. Ladies and gentlemen, Texas Air is the best.
Is it?
Yes, it is.
What makes Texas air so good?
That's why Texas Air was amazing.
Yay!
Oh, and that clipped the audio so bad.
I'm sure
I
it
don't
did.
even care.
I'm sure it did. Okay, so we should. I guess we can move on. I think we're running out of a time limit of. I don't know. We still got like a good 20 minutes.
We do.
So, is there anything else you want to talk about the Darksers?
Oh,
Let me
you
ask you.
can't get me started because I could go forever.
Let me ask you something.
Sure.
Which game do you think is easier, Demon Souls or Dark Souls?
Hmm. Hmm. I think they're on par.
You think so?
Yeah, I think like that may sound like taking the cheap way out, but to
No,
be
it's a
honest,
fair
I think they're
assessment.
on par, but not in the way that they're exactly the same. That's
Yeah.
the thing.
I think that.
Like
Okay.
Dark Souls, Dark Souls gives you recovery items. The minute you sit
Yep.
at a bonfire, you've got
Estus Flags.
5 or 10 or 15, however many.
Mm-hmm.
If you've got the right of kindling, you get a whole fucking bunch. So you just have that ability, and you've got bonfires everywhere.
In
But
Dark Souls? I
yeah,
disagree.
you got bonfires fucking everywhere.
They're nowhere. They're so
What?
far. Undeadburg is like the worst thing ever for bonfires.
It is a minute and a half to get to the next bonfire.
Okay, well then I'm missing a bonfire because it takes me way longer than that.
Okay, it's designed so that you don't have to walk like a fuckload of way just
Oh
to
yeah,
get to
no,
your
no, you're
next
right.
location.
That's right, because you have to kick down the. Oh,
The ladder, yeah.
yeah, and I think I forgot to do that.
Oh,
And so that's why I think that there's no bonfires. I remember that too, because I was like, "Wow, I am a complete moron."
and then
Yeah,
the dragon roasted you a whole bunch of times, and you're like, God damn it!
you know, I beat that Black Knight that was in front of that chest down in that lower section.
Yeah,
That was a pain.
he's meant to be.
Yeah, I forget what the prize was for beating him, but I wasn't
The blue
impressed.
tear stone ring.
What's that?
The blue tear stone ring.
Oh yeah,
It boosts your defense by a whole bunch when you're in peril.
yeah, that's right.
And by a whole bunch, I mean a whole bunch.
Yes.
But yeah, and there's the bonfires are not few and far between. They're like everywhere.
Let me tell you something, Doc. They will seem few and far between when you play Dark Souls 2.
Have you played Dark Souls 2?
I haven't played it, but I've seen a good portion of it being played.
You know what? That's okay with me.
So.
Because I appreciate a challenge.
Oh yeah.
I welcome your challenging games. Not you bullshit ones, but your challenging.
No, I'm saying there's more bonfires in Dark Souls 2.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You only have one Estus Flax though, so good luck with that.
Okay. I'm okay with that.
No. I don't know. I've seen Dark Souls 2. It looks a lot tamer, but a lot tougher in some areas. It's just different. Really. It reminds me a bit about the difference between Demon Souls and Dark Souls, honestly.
I'm okay with this.
Yeah. They're all fantastic. Going back to the point, I actually think Dark Souls is a little easier than Demon Souls.
Mm-hmm.
I think that it's less forgiving in combat, for sure. But I think that the bonfires help. And I think that the controls are a little bit more fleshed out, which helps as well.
They are.
So, I think that Dark Souls is a little easier, but not like easier difficulty, just easier to play. If that makes sense. So.
Yeah. And now you're saying that, though, early on in the game.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you have not been to the Crystal Caves and the Bed of Bullshit yet, so...
Yeah, to be fair, I think that in Dark Souls I rung both the bells, and I think I went to that, like, ghosty place. And I can't remember if I faced a boss down there or not.
Why would you go there?
Because I didn't know where to go. I was like, oh, this is a place I can go.
But they have the cutscene that just is like, ding, ding, bells, bells, and then the giant's like, and lifts the big door to Sen's fortress. That's where you go. Where it points. I had the same problem with. I don't know. I'm gonna sidetrack this a little bit to God of War, but it was at some point in study hall back in the day. Someone told me God of War had interesting puzzles. This is coming from someone who loves Golden Sun, who fucking loves Lufia, who put the time into Alundra to understand, to play Brainlord. This is... I am no stranger to awesome puzzles. And I played God of War, and the camera pointed at a block, and then it pointed at a hole, and then it panned back and forth a whole bunch of times. That scenario is coming up
I
here.
don't understand what you want me to do, game. This is very confusing. See, Doc?
It's like, I'm going to point at this castle,
Doc,
and then I'm going to point over here how to get to castle.
You say that, but you know for a fact, just as I do, that some people cannot even open up a parachute in Just Cause 2.
You know what? They probably shouldn't be playing video games.
But look, that's a fair assessment, I think. But unfortunately, there's a lot of money to be had into pandering to stupid people. Call of Duty. What? Who said that?
My God. But like, in that sort of vein, though, you probably seriously should not be playing video games. You should be trying to better yourself in other ways.
Like
if you cannot read, if you are having problems reading, video games are not going to help you.
That's true. Not with reading.
I was only helped with reading because I already wanted to read.
Yes,
that's how I played Final Fantasy when I was like 3 and 4 years old. That's how that worked. I wanted to read, so I did. You probably should read if you want to play video games because they have words.
What?
My God. Put A and other letters together and it's a word, and you should read it.
To be fair, there are some games that absolutely do not need words at all.
Of course.
Those games you could probably play. I mean, those would be fine. Although I still don't think you probably have the intelligence to pick up on the subtle clues as to how you learn the game. But,
Tetris.
Hey. Oh my goodness. Just people.
These seem like really specific examples. That's because they are. Someone was too stupid to play Tetris.
Yep.
It has too many words for you. You have more problems than I can't find a game to play.
What is that shape? That's an L-shaped block, sir. Oh, it sounds like a letter. I don't want to play this game. It's stupid. Let me play Call of Duty.
Is that an F? No, it's an L. F. F, 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 F.
Is that an R? That was a subtle
Are
joke.
that an is?
Huh?
Are that an is?
That's a subtle joke. Is that an R? The letter L.
Oh. Upside down.
Why you laugh so hard, Doc? And that is one racist joke in the book. Good job, guys. Good work. GG. All right, so let's talk about a certain game that I was forced to play this week.
But of course.
It goes by the title Final Fantasy Mystic Quest. It is.
But of course.
Is often referred to as the baby's Final Fantasy.
It is, yes.
I did not feel that way. I will say that I did think that it was a bit easy from what I played, but I was really kind of early in the game. I will say that I thought that it was a lot of fun, actually. I enjoyed it.
From what you mentioned, you got through the bone dungeon?
Yes, I did. Although that part was a little confusing. I didn't...
It's a little bit of a mess,
I was playing on like a really tiny screen, so I couldn't see that the bones were cracked, and it took me a little bit to figure out that you had to bomb through them. So, but other than that, I mean, it was pretty straightforward. The game... Okay, so this is my biggest take from that, is that... When was that game made? 1992? And so,
92, 93 around
It
there.
felt a very, very similar to another game that I played that has certain status conditions such as poison and confusion, and also has elemental damage-based stuff. Came out, oh, I don't know, I think 94 on the Game Boy.
Oh.
Was a, I don't know, how long were they working on that? I think they said they were working like 10 years on that game. But it's very similar to Pokemon, actually.
It actually really is. And not only does... Like, you've played the initial bit where things have weaknesses to... Oh, there's fire, and there's whatever. But no,
Freaking the
everything has an element, and everything is weak against
the
something.
best part is that the trees are weak against axes.
It's amazing.
It's just like that. That makes so much sense. It's like
If you haven't already realized, I fucking love this game. Everyone hates it, and I can't understand why.
listen. I don't. I was with those. They were like, "This is why this game sucks, and it's a baby version, and this is this, and look at this." And then I played it, and I was like, "You know what? This game, it's not half bad."
And like you've started it out, you've understood. Well, there's a couple of puzzles, whatever. My only real beef with it is that you've probably seen the battlefields where you just have to grind for like a whole bunch of time.
Yeah, yeah.
But that's like my only beef with the game. The rest of the game is wonderful. I love the little doofy sprites.
Oh
I
my
love
goodness. Can we talk?
the backward ass story. I love
Can we talk
the
about
music.
that?
Is fucking
Listen,
wonderful.
okay.
I
First
love
of
the
all,
music so much.
that music, not so great. Sound
No.
effects, not so great. Although it's,
What?
the music is good, but it doesn't sound good, if that makes sense. Like, it's composed well, it's written well, but I feel like it was built too early on the Super Nintendo, and it sounds, and it almost looks like it should be on the regular Nintendo, if that makes sense.
It's music that really should have a little bit better of a sound set,
Yeah.
but you'll change, like if you wind up continuing to play this game, because not all of the things I'm going to suggest to you are going to be fucking terrible. If you continue to play this game and you get to, there's this place that's buried in a frozen lake that someone is mining out.
Yep.
Has one of the most beautiful pieces of music that I've ever heard in a video.
Yeah.
And just, that is wonderful.
Yeah, I honestly don't. I don't see what all the fuss is about. But, that game, like, at first I was like, this game has, like, the dumbest story going on. And then he shrugged, looked at the camera and shrugged, and I was like, nope, that's it, this game is great. I was like,
They just have that awful animation for him shrugging.
I, like, instantly understood once he turned to the camera and shrugged what they were going for, and I was like, fantastic.
Also, can I take a minute and just say that I really dig the boss sprites and all of the rest of the sprites.
Oh, yeah.
Having multiple frames to them to show
Yeah.
how much damage you're doing.
That was really cool. I like that a lot, definitely.
Like there's a golem made of ice later on in the game.
Yep.
And the more damage to him you do, he's got like 5 phases to it.
Does he, like, turn
He'll
into,
just
like,
gradually fucking melt, and then just like his last one is just this puddle with like an arm sticking out of it trying to kill you.
That's hilarious.
So cool.
Yeah, that game is pretty good.
I love Mystic Quest. I don't care about the haters. I love it.
Yeah, I think that it's probably got a pretty rad rap. I don't know. See, Final Fantasy fans, let me tell you something. Final Fantasy fans are an entitled bunch.
Oh, very much so.
It is ridiculous. Also,
I want it to be like 7, because 7 was the only Final Fantasy for me. Go fuck yourself. Play the rest.
Can I talk about 7 for a second?
Yes.
It's not that good.
I mean, it's good, but it's not that good.
Yeah. In fact, actually, it's quite terrible at times.
Oh, yeah.
I'll snap. I said it. Yeah.
Jump and catch this thing. No. 20 minutes later. Yeah, I caught it. You just hung me up for 20 minutes as I tried to navigate your bullshit engine.
Yeah, that game is dated.
It
Listen. Final Fantasy X, don't need no HD remix. Freaking, what other Final Fantasies have we given HD remixes to? Was it just 10 and 10 2? Listen.
No, they did not.
I know there's another
They
one.
get they gave remakes to 1 and 2
Yes, that's true.
on the PSP,
Listen,
and
those don't need those. Those are fine. Seven desperately needs a remake because I feel
but
like underneath there was a fantastic story and a great game hiding underneath it, but the gameplay and the graphics are so dated that it is hard to play that game. As someone who
see,
didn't play it growing up.
I would have agreed with you if you did not put down the PSP
No, no, no,
remakes
no, no,
of like,
no, 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 no.
holy shit, they're so good.
Listen, that wasn't. I wasn't implying that they were bad. I
Okay.
was implying that the originals were fine the way that they were, and didn't need an HD remake. Even though an HD remake is fine, it's cool.
Well,
Seven needs a remake.
7, controversial topic.
Yep.
7, it could do with 1, but I don't think that our current team of wonderful people at Square Enix should be the ones to do it.
Oh yeah, no, that's
Because
true. You bring up a fact.
you're making a huge gamble here. We may not like it as much as like the layman who first started Final Fantasy on 7, who got
Oh
their
yeah.
intro on it. I mean, we have to respect that because
Oh, absolutely.
some of us, like, I got my intro on the first Final Fantasy. That was my first RPG, and then I had Dragon Warrior. It was wonderful. So that's what I wind up liking.
Hmm.
People who cut their teeth on Final Fantasy VII, you kind of got to respect that. They enjoy it so much because that's what they first got introduced to.
Listen.
And to be honest, it is a pretty decent game.
Oh yeah. What makes that
But
game isn't the game. It's all the other stuff in the game. If that makes sense. Like the core combat is okay, but like all like the little stuff you can do, like the chocobo races and the story, and like that stuff. That's what makes Final Fantasy VII great.
now I would agree with you on that extent, but
The battle thing is completely opinionated. You can
yeah,
make
yeah.
an absolute argument that it's fantastic. I just
I I would like it to be a little bit faster. That's my
listen. See, I have the opposite argument. I just want it to be an actual turn-based RPG, and I hate that little action meter thing. It drives me nuts.
oh,
Because
why?
I panic. I'm like, no, we gotta give me attack time. I gotta squeeze in as many attacks as I can.
So set it to wait.
And what?
Yeah.
What is this wait?
Okay, it's something that they started back in like around Chrono Trigger, where they're just like, you want it active or you want it wait, and while you're in a menu, nobody does anything.
That sounds fantastic.
Yeah, Chrono Trigger did that, and it, you know, if you want a fast-paced battle, you chose active because every time while you were in a menu, everything was still going on. And while you were in wait, while you're in a menu, you can sit down and you can think for it.
See,
You can evaluate.
that's what I like to do. Like, if I'm playing a turn-based RPG, I want to be able to think out moves and like plan stuff accordingly. And once you put that timer in, I can't think that fast. I can't do it. My brain doesn't work that way. So now that I know that, I think I'll have to go back and play some more.
I'm actually not positive if 7 has wait or not. It's been a while since I played it.
Yeah, well, I'll have to look into it. I didn't know that you could run in Final Fantasy VII, so maybe I should have read the manual, but that would involve reading.
That's one of my pet peeves. Read the manual, please.
Oh, goodness.
They include it with it. It's meant to be read. There was a ride home at one point in your life.
Doc, listen. Oh, I remember those. Those are so great. You just open up the
I
manual.
want to play it now. I want to play it now. You read
like,
it. You're like, it's so stoked.
You'd open up the game, and then you'd smell it. Oh, and then you'd, like, pick out the
And it would just
manual.
belch asbestos into your face.
And you'd
Carcinogen. No, I love the new games.
you'd flip like through the pages real quick, and then you'd like actually go through and look through them, and you look at the controls and the story backline, and there's actually stuff in it, and oh, it's fantastic. Listen, Doc, you can't blame me for not reading manuals or forgetting to save things, because those are things that I haven't had in my life for 5 years.
See, I still get mad when something doesn't have a manual, and
I know,
I'm
right?
not.
Makes me so mad.
And I'm gonna hold like everyone to it. Something came out very, very recently. Tales of Symphonia, like the remake of it.
Yep.
Namco Bandai, whichever the fuck they were, Bamco. included a big, giant fucking manual.
Well, that's...
It's huge.
Yeah.
And, like, I opened it, and there was concept art, and it belched asbestos in my face, and I said, cancer. But, no, they had a manual, and it was a genuine, down-to-earth manual with a little notes section in the back, and it was wonderful. And they included this alongside such newfangled concepts as weird DLC menu and steelbook case.
It's just ridiculous, like, what game companies do to save money now. Like,
I expect you.
Let's be honest.
If you're going to not do a manual, at least do it the way the Vita does it, and include it in the little page that they're going to do it in.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to sign up for your bullshit Uplay service to get to your manual. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. Either do it how Steam does it, or do it how the Vita does it. No fucking excuse.
Oh yeah.
Because Steam, you just hit a couple of buttons. I believe it's Alt-Shift or Shift-Tab, something of that nature. And you get a big page about the game. And then there's a little thing that says manual. And you click that, and they have their PC edition manual.
Yeah, not to mention...
If you're going to be doing, like, digital manual, there you go.
Not to mention most of them have, like, an option for it in the game as well. I don't know. The things that game companies do to save money is ridiculous. Like, not including manuals, using super thin discs, using cheap cases. Like,
yeah.
It's like, how much money does that honestly save you? You know, for a game that I'm spending $60 for, I don't think it's too ridiculous to ask that that stuff, you know, be decent. And really, the only company that I see this being a problem, first of all, freaking heads up again to Nintendo, because their discs are like freaking giant 2x4s.
Concrete disc.
And like,
and then the Wii U disc.
The smooth beveled edges. And then
Like butter.
It's so nice. And then like their cases are great, and you can push the thing down, it actually pops the disc out. And then PlayStation's great with their Blu-rays and their cases. For the most part, I don't think I've seen a bad case from Sony. Their cases work fairly well.
They've all been uniform, that's why.
Yeah. Freaking Microsoft, though. Oh my goodness. Like, listen, okay? I hate to hate on Microsoft so much, because it makes me sound like I'm biased. But Microsoft is giving too many reasons to be biased against them, so I don't care at this point. They're the bad guys. Not to say that Sony and Nintendo don't also have their mistakes, but Microsoft is just, their cases are so bad, and their discs, they're just meant to crack. They're just meant to break. And I feel like it is done on purpose by Microsoft for the same reason that local co-op is being weeded out. It is to get you to buy more games, more copies of the games, and more systems.
Now, I would say that there's any form of excuse to that, like maybe, I don't know, just the center bit design is just goofy or anything like that, but no. Nintendo put out the Metroid Prime trilogy on the Wii.
Yep.
With one of those steelbook cases, which will death grip your disc.
Oh,
yeah. And I have managed to play that so many times. I take it out of there, I put it back in there. I work with several copies of that. I've never seen a cracked disc from that.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's no goddamn excuse.
If you hold, okay, honestly, listen, if you own 2 systems, 2 consoles, you know what, in fact, actually, if you happen to own an original Xbox game with you, and you have a 360 game, pull them both out of their cases and put them side by side and look at the thickness, I guarantee you your 360 game is going to be much thinner. And it's to save like 2 cents of plastic.
It's ridiculous.
And it's absolutely absurd. But this is Microsoft. They're this...
Not even the discs themselves, but let's have a look at the rest of the console, too.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, this is old news at this point, but at some point, the 360 had a 56% failure.
That was it?
Huh?
I say it's a lot higher at this point.
Well, at this point, yes, but like, while those were still being manufactured, that was still able to be measured.
Yeah.
Probably at this point it's
90.
Nearing 70, 80. I won't give it 90 because there's still those people who, for some inexplicable reason, it's still trucking.
1 in 10 is what I'm thinking.
Yeah. But It's just cheaply put together. It looks beefy on the outside. It weighs a fucking
Oh
ton,
yeah.
but it's cheaply put together.
I mean,
And
this is
to save a couple of
the
bucks.
main reason why the system red lighted is because they use cheap solder.
Yeah.
Seriously? Like, how much more is it to use good solder? It drives me nuts. I don't understand.
Pennies on the dollar.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's just like, it's just, why do you make these decisions, Microsoft? I loved my original Xbox. Loved it to death. I thought it was the greatest thing ever. There were so many great games. There was games like Jet Set Radio, and there was like Blinks. So many imaginative, creative games. Actually, coming from Sony, or I'm sorry, not Sony, Sega. But on that system, there was the Bunch's Odyssey, right? I mean, there
Yeah.
was tons of great experimental games on that system, and then there was great games like the first Halo. The first two Halos, fantastic. In fact, the first three Halos I really liked. But and there's so many more, and everything was made solidly. But then it's just like, at some point, like even the original. So the original Xbox was still built like a tank, and you would at least, like most people got at least 3 years out of their original Xbox.
Oh yeah.
So it baffles me as to why they decided to make the new system so cheap, because they sold them at a loss initially, anyways, right? I can
Yeah.
only imagine, like, at the time with the parts and whatever. So it's like, why would you? I mean, for like, honestly. So here's what ended up happening. They save what, like 2 cents on the solder. And if they used that 2 cents, they would have saved billions of dollars instead of having to give people new systems off of warranties. So, like, even from a business decision perspective, what are they thinking?
I don't know. And I can't understand how this sort of thing can come from the same sort of people who designed the Zoom.
Yeah. Well.
Because that motherfucker, like,
Oh yeah.
a little bit of backstory to what I do. I used to work on a farm. I used to work on a farm for 12, 13 years. I had an original Zoom. That shit took a tumble out of the barn window, like, so many times, and it kept on trucking. And I have an HD. That thing took a tumble out of my moving vehicle. Do you think a 360 could do that?
I don't think a 360 could survive a 3-foot drop.
I don't think a 360 could survive sitting upright.
That's true. Yeah. I don't know. It's just like, and it's not really just Microsoft. A lot of companies are doing this. They're cheaping out on everything, and it's like driving me nuts.
It's driving you nuts.
Yep, driving me nuts. So listen,
yeah.
Speaking of being cheap about stuff, let's go back to people who make games. The people who are like, oh, we only sold a million copies, but we didn't make as much money as we thought. Shut up. Listen, if you can't make money from selling a million copies of your video game, cut down your development team, cut down your advertising. Because
Atlas sold, if I recall correctly, less than a million copies of Persona 4 Golden, and they were throwing a fucking party.
I know. Because
it was ridiculous.
What do they have, like a 30-man team?
It's super tiny.
You look at like Tomb Raider and Assassin's Creed and companies that are like struggling to make profits off of, I guess not Assassin's Creed so much, but eventually in the future it'll happen. But like you look at that and it's like they have a team of 300 people. And then you play the game and you're like, what do these 300 people actually do? Like,
they don't communicate.
It puzzles me so greatly. That's the thing. Like you look at all the games that we grew up playing, all the fantastic games, and I guarantee you no more than 30 people worked on that game.
Yeah, I can agree.
And you know what the advertising budget was? Not that high.
No, not even.
It's like, it's just so stupid. People are so stupid. And it's like, if you're going to advertise, don't throw up ads for a video game, like in the middle of like baseball. Put it where your target demographic is going to be. Put ads on the internet. Put ads
in Taco Bell.
Yeah. There you go. Put ads at the smoke shop.
Put, like, seriously, guys, if you want to sell more units, and this is I'm very tired and
Uh-huh.
very tired, mate.
Yep. Let's continue.
Legitimately, go to Taco Bell, run a doofy ad campaign with toys, and just whoop, there it is. Make a little Ezio that jumps
Listen,
over a sawhorse a whole bunch of times, and
dude,
I swear to God.
even better. You could take all that stupid pre-order bonus crap, right? And put that on like a little scanny code that you can scan, and then you can have like some DLC right there, right in the game.
Yeah.
It's just like I don't. The problem is that the games companies aren't being run by people who are gamers anymore. They're being run by businessmen.
Oh yeah.
Freaking Nintendo, like most of their higher ups, haven't touched another system that's not a Nintendo system. They haven't
It's
touched an iPad.
less of their higher ups. It's more of their shareholders.
But I know, it's just, it doesn't make, it's just like, what are you people, why do you think, it's an art business, it's a passion business. You can't cheap out on this and expect to turn profits. It's just not gonna happen. Like, even in technology too, because it's an art and a technology business. Like, you look at Apple, their stuff is crazy expensive, but it's not cheap. Like, they have good products. I mean, sure, if you drop your iPhone from like 5 feet off the ground, it's gonna break, but
Because it's made of fucking
yeah,
glass.
it's not necessarily their fault. It's like they cheaped out on parts. So it's just like I don't understand, because ultimately, if you make a poor product, it's gonna get returned because you're gonna warranty it, right? And then it's gonna cost you whatever that now you spent twice as much selling one.
Exactly.
And it's like Microsoft shareholders talking about, maybe we should get rid of the Xbox program. I'm like, well, how about instead you don't waste all your money remaking systems and you just make it right the first time?
Seriously.
So, it's just people.
So if you're gonna make a game or a product, make it good.
Yeah,
That's
exactly. Make it.
it's that simple. It sounds stupid as fuck, but it's that simple. Make a good product.
Don't run it like a business. Freaking
Make a
listen.
make a product, and then afterwards you can focus on the marketing of it. Don't do it in the middle.
Let me tell you something. Edmund McMillan is my hero. That guy.
He is such a
He
bro.
cares absolutely nothing about anything besides making a fantastic game.
You know, and just in that same sort of thing, Edmund McMillan's fantastic. There's a guy who goes by the pseudonym of Pixel,
I think I've heard
who
of this guy.
created a absolutely fantastic platformer shooter called Cave Story.
Yep, Cave Story. Yep.
And you know what he did? He released it for free.
Yeah.
5 years of his work, and he just put it out there because he wanted to make something cool.
He wanted people to play it. And it's just,
And
people were like, we want to throw money at you. And he's like, okay, fine, we'll make Cave Story Plus. But that's just, it's like, that's what it's about. It's about making something that people want to play.
make something cool.
It's like I see games like Call of Duty and Assassin's Creed, where it's just like they're stretching it out and stretching it out. And I see like that same development team working on it over and over again. I'm like, they gotta be bored of this. They don't want to make another Assassin's Creed game. You look at Bungie. Bungie freaking was like, you know what, Microsoft, you can just have Halo because we're done. We don't want to make this anymore. And then,
Their contract was up.
yeah. Well, obviously, they could have renewed, though. You know?
No, they could have, but like,
They don't want to
think
do it.
about what they were doing
If
before
you-
that.
if you-
They did Marathon before
Listen,
that.
if you play Halo Reach, you can tell that game did not have the same passion as Halo 3 did in it. It is night and day. Halo Reach is still a good game,
Oh
but
yeah.
it's almost soulless. It misses that core. You know, it's a bit
Yeah.
like no, we're not gonna talk about New Super Mario Bros. Again. Nope.
It's a bit like Yoshi's Island DS, which is the most soulless game I've ever played. Sarah, have you played that yet?
No.
Okay, you will play that,
Uh,
and then you'll go and you'll look at New Super Mario Brothers Wii, and you'll be like,
the Holy Grail.
wow, it has soul. No, there's just like, it's not poorly designed. You just feel like garbage when you're playing it.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. So, what to take from this? Make games because you want to make games, not because you have to make games.
Yeah, don't make a game to make money. Make a game to make a game.
Yep. See, that's another thing too. I feel like Square in like the 90s, they made games because they wanted to make games, and they didn't care if it sold well or not. They just threw it out there and saw if it sold.
See, Einhander. See, Parasite Eve. See, I don't know, Secret of Evermore. They're only at that particular point in time American developed game.
Yeah, it's just they're like, hey, you know what? We got a cool idea for a game. Let's see if it sells. If it doesn't, oh well, at least we made a fantastic game.
Yeah.
And now it's like, well, let's. And Nintendo's very much guilty of this. They're like, oh, let's just make another Mario. Let's just make another Final Fantasy, because those will sell, and then we won't be in trouble. Final Fantasy is ridiculous. Stop spending billions of dollars making that game. Nobody needs that many cutscenes, guys.
Look, they made another Final Fantasy. It was called Bravely Default. It was fucking wonderful. It had the old Final Fantasy aspects to it.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. You have a class in it.
Look.
That you can force the enemies to buy your shitty items in the middle of battle. Look at how charming that is. It's amazing.
It's fantastic. See, like, why? Listen, okay, listen, Square. You want to get on my good side? Make a game that is completely Japan. Like, I want giant robots. I want freaking velociraptors fighting giant robots, and then like some weird anime girl just randomly pops in, and like just the most weirdest RPG ever, and you will have me again. That's.
Have you played The World Ends With You?
No.
Okay. You need to play that. We're going to get this to you immediately.
Yes, you should.
Okay.
Is that what that game is?
It's just... You know how Jet Set Radio just has that style to it? It's just fucking chill and stick it to the man.
Yep.
Imagine if you high-fived Jet Set Radio, one of Square Enix's RPGs that was actually very good, and just like take Persona's soundtrack and just stick it all together, and it just makes this amazing mix.
That sounds fantastic.
Yeah.
See,
that's one of those that you're probably gonna have to borrow from me because it's a fucking hard game to find.
Yeah, I will. You should ship it. Just throw it at my house.
But I want it back. It's really good.
I can make no promises on that.
It ain't getting shipped if I can't get it back.
Listen, Doc, I can't express to you how much like joy games like that give to me. Like, because I'm working on a game now, and I'm just like, you know what? You know what this game really needs? It needs you to get into a mech suit and just blow everything up. That's what it needs.
Yes.
Just like, giant velociraptor that shoots lasers at you. Yep, that needs to happen. Mecha Hitler. Yep, that's got to be on there too. So, like, there's...
You know, that reminds me a little bit. Sorry to interrupt, but, like, EA had one of those moments.
I'm sorry.
EA of all fucking people.
Nope, you're making this up.
I am not.
Nope, they just released...
Have you ever played Henry Hatsworth in The Puzzling Adventure?
No.
Okay. You might want to play this. It has... So, the story is, you have this old British guy, and he's trying to find the pieces of this amazing suit that supposedly give its wearer special powers.
Okay.
What the amazing suit allows you to do, like on the bottom screen of your DS, you're playing Tetris Attack.
Okay.
What a treat. And the more you're able to play Tetris Attack on the bottom screen, like your enemies are sent, you kill an enemy in the top world, it gets sent to the Tetris Attack world. Kill enemies in the Tetris Attack world, it builds up a meter on the side of the screen. That meter hits full power, and you have the most British mech suit ever. I'm not making this up. It's powered by tea. And it's literally called Tea Time. Your cutscene is of just like a whole bunch of British people.
Does it play like God Save the Queen in the background?
Almost. It gets really goddamn close. It is amazing. And then it just plays like... I don't know, this metal shit as you just wreck face across there in this doofy, slappy hands, T-powered robot.
See, we need more games like that and less games about middle-aged guys grunting behind chest-high walls.
And I'm not even done.
Oh, please continue. I want to hear more.
Okay? You know how earlier games, like earlier RPGs and stuff, they would have dialogue boxes and they'd have text noises.
Yep. I love those.
The text noises are stereotypical British, like, obnoxious noises.
Like?
So it's like,
Yeah, sure. This
game is amazing.
I need to order 7 of this game.
Yes, you do. It's definitely worth a play.
That sounds fantastic. See?
I mean, if you like Tetris Attack, there's Tetris Attack. If you like a decent platformer, there's a decent platformer.
That's what games are about. They're about having fun and being fun. Just people make more games like that and less games where your main character has no soul and talks like, "Oh no, the world is ending. Now I must save it. Snow, I must kill you first." That's my lightning impression.
I am lightning, I have straight lines.
Oh my goodness.
Oh no, time paradox. What am I going to do?
Have you seen anything on the new Final Fantasy 13? The Lightning Returns?
The most I've heard about it is that it does not suck as much as the other.
Okay, so the gameplay does not suck. I actually like the paradigm shift, actually, but you're more free to move in this one, which is cool.
Yeah.
Other than that, the story is absolutely freaking off the wall, ridiculously stupid. Like, it is just so dumb. Just do yourself a favor. Go watch Yahtzee's review of it. Go on Zero Point. This episode brought to you by Zero Punctuation. Anyways.
Yes, and The Escapist.
No, seriously, go.
By the way, I'm not going to take any of Yahtzee's reviews seriously. He's really funny, but he likes 2 games.
Yes, that's true. One of them happens to be Driver San Francisco.
And the other one, I think, is Earthbound?
Probably. Yeah. Although he actually did a review on Dark Souls finally, so.
Props to him.
I think you'll be pleasantly surprised with that one.
I think I've actually seen that. He got beat the shit out of initially, and then he actually went back to play.
Yep. That's Dark Souls for me, too. It's weird. I feel like Dark Souls is it's like a drug.
You know, you didn't bring the heat.
You
left your A game in your other pants pocket. And now you just can't do that.
No. Yeah, that's true. You cannot. There's no way you could play that game absolutely plastered. There's no way. Okay.
Another episode, we will discuss that.
There's no way I could play that game absolutely plastered.
Yes.
But, anyways, I think we're dragging on here a little long, so.
A little
We're
bit.
almost at an hour 30, so.
Not too bad.
Yeah.
That makes up for skipping a week.
Yeah, we skipped a week last time, too. It's like we're doing this podcast every other week.
Yeah, well, life happens.
No, it's intentional. It's an every other week podcast.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's intentional, like we're doing, yeah.
Yeah.
So, are we going to continue doing this thing where I make you play games that you don't want to play?
Yeah, I guess.
You getting tired of RPGs?
Not really.
Okay. Why don't you play Secret of Evermore? Get back to me on that.
Secret of Evermore, okay.
Have you played that yet?
No, but I'm
okay.
looking forward to.
Actually, it was a fantastic game. I'm not going to make you play something terrible. It's a treat.
Yeah, 2 treats in a row, man.
No, I made you deal with 2 of the quote-unquote worst games on the Super Nintendo in terms of RPGs.
I'm feeling like I'm a dog who didn't pee on the carpet this time. Feeling like I'm getting spoiled here.
You just managed to fly over a bucket and just pee at corkscrew.
I sat on the toilet, did my business, washed my hands afterward, or washed my paws afterward.
I had no idea this was Bruce Almighty.
Oh man. Okay, so that's gonna do it for this episode. You can follow me on Twitter and YouTube at MegaDinosaur. Doc, pimp your crap.
You can follow me on Twitter at PhDXSnulz, XSNULZ, because people, I don't know, seeing me misspell it for some reason. I don't know. It's not that hard to spell.
Because they don't want to read, Doc.
Oh.
They can't read manual.
We also don't put it underneath the episode titles. Oh
Oh, we
no!
probably should do that.
We probably should.
Yeah.
Also, we've gotten complaints from our mobile users that any links that we put inside the video itself should probably be putting those underneath. So, mobile users, if we ever do link you to things, we are so sorry. We will be very. We'll link you underneath there.
Yeah.
So, in case you want to listen to us on your phone while you're driving,
I don't know why. But
why the fuck would you want to do that?
what is wrong with you?
Millions are dead.
Also, why are you driving an hour and a half to work?
Maybe you just love your job. And to that, I applaud you. If you really do love your job that much that you drive an hour and a half to that, or you have to take a plane in for some fucked up reason.
That'd be kind of cool, flying in a plane to work.
You just take the max to work.
You just have to you have to fly to Mars and back. It's you wouldn't believe how much money you spend in gas. Commute is killer. Literally.
Oh yeah, if anyone's listening and is part of that weird Mars program where you go and you never come back, say hi for us at Pass the Controller Podcast. And we'll end it with that horrible, offensive shit.
Yep.
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been episode 3 of Pass the Controller Podcast. It's been an honor.
And we're very, very sorry.
Yes, we're so sorry. We're sorry for next week and the following as well. Next week because we probably won't put one up. And then the following because we'll talk again. So. Yeah, I'm so sorry. Oh. All right.